Hello, my friends. Hello, lovers. Hello, dreamers, and everyone. Welcome to this video. Just a heads up, I am making this reading and journey for the full moon in Aquarius and for Lughnasadh, but I always make these with the intention that they are there for whoever needs them at whatever time. So if you stumble upon this video a month, 6 months, a year afterwards, no worries. It is likely still holding some wisdom and healing for you. But this is, as I said, a message about Lughnasadh and our full moon in Aquarius coming up. So I pulled some tarot cards and I've pulled a rune. I'm going to do the reading and then I'm going to lead us on a guided journey. So for the guided journey, I will create sacred space. Sacred space will be set up. You'll be good to go, but I do still recommend creating some kind of sacred space wherever you are. So never listen to this while driving or operating equipment. Make sure you treat a journey like a meditation so that you are somewhere safe, still, and you won't be disturbed. Otherwise, let's just dive in. Let's dive into this reading. It's really beautiful. So the rune I pulled, and it's so cool, it's so on the nose, is Yera. So Yera is this rune of the harvest, which is so perfect because Lughnasadh is the first of the harvest festivals. So as you can see here, it looks almost like a wheel, hey? Just like it never ends, like the seasons. It kind of reminds us of the cyclical nature of life. And this is completely lining up with the reading. The reading is very, very much at this time. What you have done and what you are doing is you are harvesting the lessons from the pain that you've experienced. You are creating so much wisdom. You're really alchemizing the crap and turning it into your wisdom. And as such, this is a very potent period for you to let go of the old cycles that you have found yourself in and no longer wish to find yourself in. So really juicy. And the rune Yera, it means year. So if you think about a year, we can almost think about a year like a circle. Where were you 1 year ago? Where were you 3 years ago? Where were you 10 years ago? Some things have changed and some things have stayed the same. You've likely experienced some cycles, let some go, but there might still be some that you are stuck in. And I do believe this reading is going to help with that. So let's pull out those cards. So here we go. So I kind of based this reading on the energies of Lughnasadh and also Yera. So this idea of harvest. So the first card is, what have we harvested at this time? Now, let's examine really quickly the word harvest. This would imply that you have grown crops or a garden. So there's been work before this. So seeds have been planted and the plants have grown. And this is now what you have, right? So if you were like harvesting apples, these are your apples. This is the result of your work over the many months or possibly years. And it is the Queen of Swords. I love the Queen of Swords. And this card, this figure, they get kind of a cold rap. But the older I get, the more I really love this figure and very much appreciate their wisdom. So the late, great Rachel Pollack said in her book, 78 Degrees of Wisdom, that the Queen of Swords of all the queens is the most linked to pain and wisdom. So of all the queens, this queen is the most familiar with taking pain they've experienced and cultivating it into wisdom. Because the Queen of Swords isn't just intelligent. Of course, there's intelligence, but the Queen of Swords is wise, and wisdom can only be gained through life experience. Anyone can read any book, you know what I mean? Anyone can memorize facts. We all know how to sound smart, you know what I mean? We know the right vocabulary to use. We know how to criticize. That's a game, right? That's for show. The Queen of Swords is wise. So the Queen of Swords does have wit and intelligence and is likely interested in learning languages, writing, speaking, etc. But more than that, the Queen of Swords has taken all the pain and become wise. And the wisdom has helped this figure understand that old expression, the pathway to hell is paved with good intentions. And I think that's where some of that coldness comes from this figure. But it's not actually a coldness or uncaring. It's just when you get older, you have more life experiences, you learn, not all that glitters is gold. You learn that the people pretending to be the most righteous often have a lot of dirt to hide. You know what I mean? You start to really see we kind of take off the rose-colored glasses a bit. Doesn't mean that this figure is bitter. We don't go that far. So this tells me, for my friends, you're watching this, that this is a really powerful time for you to reflect upon the wisdom that you have learned from your pain. And it's not that it's good that the pain happened. We never say this, but it did happen. So what do we do with it, right? And so this queen now has a clearer mind, is much more objective, has fantastic boundaries, and is intelligent and wise. And so this is what you're cultivating at this time. This is the harvest, okay? These are not the seeds you're planting. This is what you're ready to step into. So this tells me at this time, a great activity for you to do would be, I would really like roll up those sleeves. It's like nice straight spine, you know, sit really straight, stand really tall, and like reflect upon some of the painful cycles you've experienced, whether that's just through dating, if you feel you've always held yourself back and so you feel very unfulfilled in your work because you've never taken chances, right? If there were, you know, like cycles that you experienced through the types of people you're spending time with, blah, 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 blah. Like just like pick your type of cycle. You are in this like potent position to harvest the wisdom. What have you learned? And it's not making you bitter and it's not holding you back, because that wouldn't be a good harvest. No, this is the wisdom that helps you move forward with all of this intelligence and all of this grace and all of this clarity and all of this confidence, right? So you are no longer held back by the old pains, by the old hurt. And that's what you're really cultivating, which is so strong, right? Ooh, it feels so good. Okay. Now now I pulled another card for like, what's our cleanup? When we're harvesting, it's not just what you harvest. We make a bit of a mess, right? Anyone else garden out there? Yeah. So what's the cleanup? So this is really asking, so we know what what your apples are, what herbs you're harvesting. It's your wisdom, it's your strength. It's that alchemizing the pain, the lead into the gold, the wisdom, the love, and the light. But what do we got to clean up? Wheel of Fortune. More messages of cycles. Now, my friends, if you're watching this, you are likely interested in divination in some capacity. As I'm pulling cards and runes, you're probably interested in spirituality. And Wheel of Fortune offers us very, very helpful, needed, practical, yet mystical wisdom. So the Wheel of Fortune reminds us that we never, ever are in complete control of everything that's going on. That's how she goes, right? We cannot control everything that's happening out there. We can't, it's futile. And that's where we start to get really ego and power over others. We do not like it if people do this to us, so we will not do this to others, right? But having said that, you yourself have a considerable amount of control over your actions, how you perceive things, your thoughts, how you talk to people, how you talk to yourself, the choices you make. You have way more power and autonomy than you realize. So if we lean into this acceptance with the Wheel of Fortune that we do not have control over everything else, right, in the outer world, but we have considerable control over what we're doing, now we can really start to dance with the energies of fate, of destiny. And the way fate and destiny, these words are used, is going to be different according to different cultures. So what I was taught in the shamanic school I studied through was that fate is the life path that you kind of fall into. It's if we don't consciously live. So we're going to fall into the same cycles as our parents, as our grandparents, and we don't really choose our life with fate. Whereas a destiny is the idea that destiny, we can also think about destiny as like dharma, which is the most authentic expression, the highest vibrational expression of yourself. It's like you being who you really came here to be. And that's destiny. So it's where we break off what we've just been born into and we forge our path of light. This to me is what we're leaving behind, is like the two extremes of this. So one, thinking that the only way we're ever going to be happy is if this person does this and if this person does that. You know what I mean? The only way things will be okay is if this all falls into this like meticulous plan. Nope, scrap it. That's just madness and misery, this path. But on the other hand, less, you know, like I said, my spiritual friends, I hear a lot of like, well, if it's just meant to be, it's meant to be. I disagree, to be honest, because we have free will. And because of what I just talked about, fate and destiny. We could totally skip our destiny in this lifetime, only to come back in another lifetime, try and line up with it. Okay. So one, don't try and micromanage, but 2, don't give up your power and autonomy under the guise of fate or destiny. So it's that middle ground. We're going to dance with the unknown, but we're going to do all we're going to do to make sure that we like the cycles that we're in, that we're, having a positive impact through being ourselves. So this is really, I feel like you're all kind of like stepping into your power. It does feel a hint. I feel like relationship stuff, also possibly like career stuff. So if you feel like you've played it very safe with like your education or with your jobs and you're just like scratching to get out of this, the Queen of Swords would be really like, oh, we're not going to blame mommy or daddy or even society, right? The Queen of Swords is like, this is how we're going to lovingly approach some of these cycles and maybe say, I didn't actually go to school for what I really wanted to go to school for because I was scared instead of, the XYZ excuses. And it's not to beat ourselves up. It's to understand and grow, because the Queen of Swords has the strength to recognize where they had a hand in shaping a path that now they do not like. But they also have the wisdom not to be a martyr, not to lose themselves in misery, and to make different choices, just to learn, because we're human and we're all going to make mistakes, c'est la vie. Okay. Now, what is still growing for you? Because Lughnasadh is the first of the harvest Sabbats, which means there's more harvest coming. So there's still more growth happening that's not ready to be plucked and enjoyed. Nom nom. This isn't me eating apples. I don't know. So what's still growing for you, my friends? Page of Wands. Page of Wands. Ooh, that's exciting. First off, very cool, because I'm asking what's growing. And we get a page. And pages are like the youthful energy, fresh new beginnings. Woo, exciting. And the Page of Wands is this firecracker, this little spark who's excited about their ideas. They're creative. They want to try everything. They're so stoked to learn. They just want to go out into the world and have adventures and try it all and make lots of art and write stories. And I'm going to go travel and be a healer. Like, it's that kind of like wonderful, fun energy. And the childlike, just majesty, the wisdom of this card is that we haven't weighted down with heavy expectations of what we have to get out of it. And what if I fail? What if I'm bad? What if they laugh at me? No, we're in like the wisdom of little kid mode, which is just like, that looks super fun. Buckle up, here I go, right? So that's what's growing for you. So pages is with wands are creativity. It could be performance. It could, anything creative, anything that you're passionate about. And it can also actually be spirituality. We always talk about cups in the tarot as like intuition, but wands very much are about spiritual exploration. And on the spiritual path, there's a lot of really exciting learning adventures. So wands can really, really line up with that. Also, really quick fun fact. Wands represent fire and an alchemy. So remember, we're talking about alchemy. So this transmutation of the heaviness, the lead, the pain, into gold, into the light, into destiny and purpose. Fire is considered the most important element because it's only through the fires that everything transforms. So I get this like super, super transformative vibe. It's not about you going back to when you were a little kid. It's like you can take the wisdom of youth, which is trust, which is wonder, which is awe, which is not needing to know how every single step is going to unfold, not needing it to give you a certain outcome, but the true pleasure of creation and pleasure of the journey. So you're bringing that wisdom in, but you're just balancing it with your wisdom of lived experience, however old you are watching this. So we have the Queen of Swords being like, yeah, ooh, that was me. That was my misery. I did that. Okay. I forgive myself and I learned. Here's how I move forward in a way that really represents love and wisdom. But you can bring in all that little kid wonder and awe. So watching this, I just get the sense it's like no more excuses. Like you're just so ready to be like, this is the life I want. This is what I've done that has helped me. This is what has not helped me. I'm releasing super micromanaging control. But I'm not just like feeling like I'm a pawn of fate. I'm going to go after those things that light me up and just, help me spread my wings and soar, like in the page. Because, we're all going to die someday. I know it sounds a little heavy, but that's the reality. In spirituality, you see death come up in so much. We think about death with the waning moon. We think about death in the seasons. We think about like death of experiences. Let snake skin, mourning the old. It is important to remember that our time is so valuable and to make the most of it. And this reading is helping you take some of the, the tough medicine to recognize the wisdom that you have cultivated. Recognize where maybe you haven't really been doing that, but recognizing all the skills that you do have and honoring what you do truly want. Okay, my friends. So parting message of healing, it's the Three of Swords. So this just tells me, I think, everything that we've talked about. That Three of Swords is like, you have been hurt. You have felt betrayed. And you're human. So there are times that you have felt jealous. There are times where you have felt petty. There's times where you were betrayed and you betrayed others. And this is just a bit of a reminder that we cannot escape pain. So whatever spiritual path you're kind of looking to, don't look at it as an escape plan. Look at it as enrichment of who you are and a stronger connection to your true self. And from there, you have all the tools to navigate life's challenges and then ideally skip the avoidable ones, right? Three of Swords, the astrology here is Saturn in Libra. And Saturn, hot, strict daddy of the planet, Saturn, we cannot skip our lessons in Saturn. Saturn's look what you did. But then Saturn's if you learn from it, you will be rewarded. That's something that we don't always talk about with Saturn. And Libra, of course, so much about beauty and love and relationships. Libra wants everything to be fair. And this is just a reminder that life is not always fair. But what do you do? What do? You don't give up. You can't give up. You got to keep going. And just a reminder that a lot of the pain that you've gone through, it's not good that has happened. We're not saying it's good, just that there is wisdom you have cultivated there, and really it can become the elixir that you bring back not just to your life but to your community. Sometimes, a lot of times, the pain that people have gone through, it can, if we alchemize it, really inspire us to help others. We take what we learned during those challenges and we're I don't want other people to struggle like this. And then we want to share our knowledge, right? That's why whenever I tell my students who come to learn tarot from me, I'm message me, ask me questions. If you're nervous about starting your career as a tarot teacher, or tarot reader or Reiki practitioner or whatever, I always tell them, come to mommy, because I started out quite alone on this path and learned a lot of things just through experience. So I really, really value help. And so I always tell my students to continue to come to me to ask me questions after the course has ended, because it sucks to have to go through things alone. But we can still forge all that wisdom. So for me, I take all the things that I learned on this path and I'm just take it. Because that's what we kind of want to do, right? I'm sure you're sitting there, you've been through a tough spot, and you could probably sit and start to think about, what did I learn? How can I help others down this path so they don't have to go through the same things, so I can make it easier for them, etc. You probably could, I bet a bunch of you right now are already thinking, oh yeah, I would totally recommend that to younger me or this person in another situation. Okay, my friends, so get cozy. It's time for the journey. Okay, my friends, so for this journey, you can lay down, you can be sitting up, you can actually be moving. Sometimes it actually helps to almost walk around your room and reach out if you feel like there's a flower you want to touch on your journey. Do what is right for you. If you are walking around, it is just wise that you clear space so that you don't trip over anything. If that's not really possible, then just hold still. So like I said, sitting, laying down, whatever feels right for you. You can also change it if you're laying down during your journey and you're I gotta move. Get up and move. Intuitive movement. Let her rip. I've already created sacred space, which means I have called in the corners, I have cleansed, I've called in spirit guides. If this is something you want to do, I do recommend it. At the bare minimum, I would suggest cleansing your space and just setting the intention that this is now sacred time and you are protected. So if you need to pause the video and do that, go ahead. Otherwise, I hope you're cozy. Let's get started with a really quick caveat. So I'm going to say a lot of seeing. I'm going to say, look at this tree. What do you see? Not everyone's intuition works that way. Or alternatively, sometimes we build up to being able to be more visual. So if you do see things, Bob's your uncle. But if you're I don't see things, then there's other ways your intuition is going to give you the information that you receive on this journey. Because that's what a journey is. Our consciousness is traveling through the spiritual realms to receive guidance and healing. So that's why we usually go into a journey with an intent. There's usually, we need an answer, we're seeking healing. I'm guiding you through that. I have that for you today. It's to break old cycles and bring in new, better ones, to realize your wisdom. That's what we're going to be doing today for this full moon. So your intuition may also, you might just get a clear knowing, right? Claircognizance, as you just know the answer, you know what your guides are trying to tell you. Of course, you might be clairaudient. You might hear the messages. So you might actually hear words in your ear, in your mind's ear. You might smell things. You might just get flashes. So just, if you don't visualize, don't put so much pressure on yourself. Just allow your intuition, just trust your intuition and allow the messages to come through in whatever way works for you. Okay? So having said that, let's get started. We're going to take some 4-4-4 breaths to calm the nervous system and be really ready for journeying. So that's where you will breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, breathe out for 4 counts, and hold for 4 counts. So I'm going to do it, and you can just follow along with me whenever you're ready. I do also recommend doing this, if it's possible, through your nose, because that will help also calm you down. So whenever you're ready, join me. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Now just let your breathing come back to normal. Set the intention you are going on a journey to receive healing and guidance this Lughnasadh, this full moon. So wherever you are, set the intention that your consciousness is rising up, going on this journey. Imagine that the door or entry to the room you're in opens, but instead of opening to the hallway or another room, it opens to this beautiful meadow. And this is where our journey will begin. Send your consciousness through the door to the meadow now. And the door closes behind you, and you are now in the meadow. Take a moment to just become really familiar with your surroundings. How do your feet feel on the grass? Or is it grass? Have you been taken to a beachy meadow? Or is it soil? What colors do you see around you? Or what colors do you sense are around you? Are there smells in the air? How does the air feel on your skin? Is it hot or cold or dry or humid? If you wish to call a spirit guide to you to help you along this journey, you may do so now. If you do not have a guide and wish to invite one in, which is optional, we will do that now. Tell the beautiful sacred space you're in that you are ready to meet your spirit guide, one of your spirit guides, who will help you on this journey. A sparkly mist appears before you. And on the count of 3, your guide will appear. Your guide may be an animal or an element or a humanoid form. Just trust what comes through. And the mist will depart, and you will see your guide on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Trust whatever's come through. now tell this guide you are seeking healing on this journey. You are turning pain into wisdom, leaving behind the old cycles, and creating new cycles that are in alignment with your destiny. Your guide leads you towards a huge, mighty tree. This is Yggdrasil, the tree that holds the 9 realms together in Norse mythology. You can sense the power and energy pulsing through this tree, ancient wisdom and magic and life force energy. Go up to Yggdrasil and leave an offering of gratitude. This could be your favorite flower, your favorite drink. You could sing a couple notes. Could be oatmeal or cornmeal. Could be something else. But go and give Yggdrasil an offering for this journey. Yggdrasil has accepted your offering. You feel called to walk around Yggdrasil, and you enter a grove of trees. In this grove of trees, you are going to see the old cycles that caused pain that you are ready to leave behind. Figures start to emerge from the trees, and you realize this is going to be acted out for you. So just take a few moments, I will be quiet, and watch the old cycles of pain that you are ready to leave behind and you are ready to transmute into gold. Allow it to play out now. Have any questions, you can ask your guide or ask the actors to give you more information. And it's time to wrap this part up. See any last things you need to see. And the actors disappear. At your feet, a small piece of wood has appeared. This is a death arrow. It's going to hold the energies of these old lessons in pain, and you are going to throw it in a fire, where it is going to transform into gold. Your guide leads you away from the sacred grove to a new grove, a bigger one, where a big, beautiful fire is at the center, a huge bonfire. You can feel the warmth. You can feel fire spirit. You can feel the magic of this. This is no ordinary fire. Around the fire is a circle of people. Your spirit guides, ancestors, other people on this journey healing. Feel the love and support pulsing in this group. It is your turn to walk up to the fire and blow your old pain into the death arrow and throw it into the fire. You walk up to the fire, holding the death arrow in your hand. 3 big breaths. On each exhale, blow from your body the heavy energies into the piece of wood. You may even wish to feel these energies as heaviness or see them as cloudy, murky energies. Feel them leave your body. See them leave your body and enter the wood as you blow them out. 3 times. intention of releasing the old, stepping into your light, stepping into your gold, stepping into new cycles, you throw the piece of wood into the fire. And you see the fire consume the wood, turning it to ash. The shape of a phoenix rises up out of the fire and comes to meet you, filling you with golden light before flying away. Follow the phoenix now. The phoenix is leading you to the third grove, the final grove of this journey, where you will dream of the new cycles and the new possibilities available to you now, where you will see how pain has been turned into wisdom. You arrive in the sacred grove. Ask the phoenix to show you, how has pain been turned into wisdom? And what new cycles are you ready for? And I'll be quiet for a few minutes for you to see this. Time to wrap up this part of the journey. Ask any last questions or receive any last healing you need before returning. And now the phoenix flies away. And you and your guide, if you have one, return back to Yggdrasil, to the Tree of Life. Thank Yggdrasil again for the guidance that you received and the healing you received on this journey today. You feel something forming in the palm of your hand. You open it up, and it is a small reddish-brown stone. It is carved with the rune Yera on it. And if you don't remember what that looks like, that's okay. The energy of Yera is in this rune, is in this stone. This is your own philosopher's stone. The own wisdom that you have cultivated, your own philosopher's stone to transmute pain into wisdom and lead into gold. Put it to your chest and breathe it into your heart, breathing in the new cycles and the wisdom and the gold and the lightness that you have received and will continue to receive after this journey is done. You start to walk away from Yggdrasil, back the way you came at the beginning of the journey. A doorway appears and you see your resting body. Consciousness flies to the doorway now to return to your body, goes through the doorway and into the room. The door closes. You are fully back in your room, and you'll be fully back in your body on the count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So bring some gentle movement. Nice deep breaths. I highly recommend writing down what you experienced, because it's easy for it to start to float away in the ether, and to reflect on this journey many times, especially over the next lunar cycle, because the journey is just the beginning. The healing is actually going to continue to unfold for you over the coming weeks, as is depth of the meaning of what you experienced. So I highly recommend writing it down. If you created sacred space, open it so the energies aren't bananas. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here. It is such a gift to share this with you. So thank you so much, and wishing you a very blessed Lughnasadh and full moon blessings as well.